Hey, yo, let's just have a conversation. Let's sit down on this couch or in this chair and converse. Y'all know what this is, man. This is Casey Muse. This is Avenue Speak, and this is the AvenueChat podcast. And man, today's guest is my guy David McCorkle.
Yeah.
In the previous take of this, I got his last name butchered, so we're gonna get it right. But now that I've already done his introduction, I can't surprise him or wow him with his introduction to my appreciation of his creative ability and his talents. So we'll just do it anyway.
Thank you, man.
But so David is a photographer that exists in Tyler, Texas. I don't know where he's from. I don't know too much of his story. I don't even know how he got to photography, but today we're finna find out. So David has an uncanny ability to make people vastly interested in the subjects that he decides to do photography for or photography with. I'm gonna say photography with because I think that for him, having the idea of doing photography with people is a journey and a process and an intention, right? But he has an uncanny ability to make people interested because I think he tells a slight glimpse of a story about that person through every single picture that he takes. And I think it's unique. So I had to have David on here. And I really don't even know that he knew that I thought that about him before I asked him to be on this podcast.
And I appreciate that. Man.
I would see pictures of, you know Dean, right?
Yeah.
Like I would see pictures of Dean, and I would see pictures of Maya, and I would see pictures that were taken like outside the foundry or like offshoot or whatever. I'd be like, dude, who is this guy taking these pictures of these people that I know that I don't know him?
Yeah.
I think I've seen him. Like, I mean, it's Tyler, right?
Yeah.
It's like, if you run in the same circle, you know the same people. I mean, I've known you. I didn't know that was you, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get in front of the camera too much, so sometimes I'll share some of myself that like my other photographer friends have taken.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's I just love taking photos of people. I love people. And
Yeah.
I love trying to show people, say if I take a photo of you or whoever it is.
Yeah.
Like I love trying to show people who don't know you or my subject the sense that they gave me, the sense that my subject gave me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like I said in that previous take, it's a collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to capture their sort of essence, I guess.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you the process. I can't really put words to it. It's just like sometimes I'll have a concept in my mind or a feeling or kind of an idea of what I want to do. I'm like, okay, who would be good for this?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's interesting. That's a new idea, new point of view of reverse engineering. That.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's because
cool.
I don't think that you can do every concept with every person because when you're taking somebody's photo, any ounce of like discomfort or just it comes through. Any kind of I want them to be comfortable. So if I'm got this crazy idea that I want to do, I want somebody who's comfortable doing this crazy idea. I can't just say, "Oh, you're a pretty face. Let me use you for this." You know what I mean? Because it won't be effective at the end of the day. But yeah, it's a collaboration for sure.
Have you ever done any photography with people with your ending result in mind, but knowing that their discomfort would maybe add to the story?
Not necessarily for me.
Does that question make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Not for me. I know what you are getting at, and I have seen a lot of photographers who are like effective in that. And the first place my mind goes to is like street photographers.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get them big, wide angle scenes and everything. It's just people mingling around, walking about, and then sometimes in the frame there's somebody like looking at the photographer. If you're doing like traditional,
so then the photographer will time the look and then look at you to bring about the emotion.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, typically, if you go to photography class or whatever, it's like, it technically wouldn't be a good photo because it's just that little extra something in there. It's like this guy noticed me. While everybody else is just mingling around. There's like that connection in that photo, So it looks uncomfortable, it looks a little awkward, but it works in that sense. For me, because I don't do a lot of, like, I'm always walking around, I don't have cars, so I'm always walking around the street. I don't really shoot a lot of street stuff, specifically. I mean, I shoot whatever, but what I love to do is portraits. It's like, hey, dude, like, let me take your photo, because I'll sit there, like, I can't just, like, snap. Like, you'll see, like, when I take your photo, like, we're going to be sitting there, I'm going to be checking stuff, and you're going to be like, all right, when's he going to take the photo? But, like, you'll see, because it takes me time, you know, to make the proper exposure and make sure everything's good and everything. But
it's an interesting process, though.
The great thing about film, though, is you can't do that. Like, I learned, like, self-taught, you know, videos and stuff like that when I was, like, starting when I was, like, maybe, like, 16. I'm 24 now. And I was just like, I need a film camera. And I don't know why, I just had that impulse and got it and started learning about it. And that's the beauty of it, is you have, so like say shoot 35 millimeter, you know, the smaller format, you have like max like 36 exposures. So unless you want to blow through a whole roll and have to pay processing and all that to get one photo, then go for it. But I don't have that kind of money, so I gotta take my time, you know? Yeah.
Okay. So what do you mean exposure in photos? Oh, because your camera is.
Yeah, this is a film camera.
Yeah. Okay.
I shoot it exclusively film. I've used digital before, and now I really only use it to like do test shots, like in my house and stuff, like long exposures and stuff like that.
So why do you choose to use a film camera?
For that reason, that it makes you more intentional in taking your photos. You take more time, you know, because you don't want to waste money and waste all the precious film in the camera. But also, you know, I mean, we'd be here all day if I was listing everything. But some of the main ones, when you're shooting film, especially the way I shoot, you know, sometimes I'm not super consistent, and I'll finish out a roll and I don't know what's on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I send it out to Chris French. Shout out to Chris French, developer man. And
I think I know. Do I know Chris French?
You probably do. Yeah. He's bar manager at Cafe 1948.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Big beard, glasses.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I get it out to him, he processes everything for me. It's old school, hand developing, and then he'll scan it digitally.
That's epic. Is it like night room or dark room looking stuff?
He does that. He does that.
That's nostalgic.
Probably what you're thinking, where it's like red, red light and everything. You don't really need that unless you're making prints.
Okay.
So because once you get all the film into the canister with the chemicals, it's light tight. You can go out and develop it in the sunlight if you want to.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's a cool process. That side of it, that's a whole other art form. I can't speak too much on that. But yeah, when I get my film to him, and you know, he sends me the scans back, I'm like, oh shoot, yeah, look, I did take that photo. Like, that's cool. You kind of relive it, you know. It's like going back and like into your mind and like seeing a memory again.
Yeah.
Because when you take a photo, whenever you press the shutter, like that moment is sealed. One, you know, as a photographer, obviously sealed into the film, but also it's sealed into your mind. You know, there's photos I've taken that I will think about it and obsess over it, like how it looked in the viewfinder and everything, until I get my film back. And it can be the highest high or the lowest low when that happens. Because if you have that expectation of the photo that you took, and it's like, it's gonna be so sick, you get it back and it's like, oh, this is garbage, man. You know. But then again, if it comes back the way that you imagine, it's the best feeling in the world.
Right.
So it's just exciting. It's like, it's like gambling kind of, but you know, there's not a whole lot at stake. It's just your ego at stake.
So have you ever gotten anything back from an editor and with the expectation of it looking a certain way, or an expectation of having a particular story or an image, and not having it?
Yes, absolutely. Which that also is exciting, because sometimes that's for the better or for the worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you have a concept and you're working at it, you spend 10 minutes just making a single photo.
Yeah.
And you get it back, it's like, dude, just nothing worked. Like, I can't use this.
Yeah.
You know, I spent all that time, it didn't work. And then sometimes, you know, you have that, it worked out exactly how I imagined.
Right.
And then I think probably the best possible outcome for me is having that intention, having that image in my mind, taking the photo, it doesn't come back how you imagined it, but it's like the film or the camera or like some divine intervention like gives it. It's like, no, you don't know what this needs to look like. I'm gonna, this is what it looks like, and it works, and it's so cool, man.
Yeah. Yep, I get that all too well. I know sometimes, man, when I am drumming in the moment, and I'm like on stage with Lodi, or I'm doing a drum circle or whatever, and I can't think of a particular instruction or pattern to reach a certain kid or a certain child or whatever. And the only thing that I know to do is to approach. I don't even know how I'm supposed to approach, but creating that moment and then just listening to what is going on. And somehow when I get to the point of I have to make some type of verbal connection, somehow I'm able to hear the right words that I need to say. And so it's just listening to what is around in the atmosphere. So I'm just using connecting words over what's around. I never planned some of those things, and they just end up working out.
That's the best thing, man.
Yeah.
And it shows your sort of, your sort of skill set in what you do.
Yeah.
When you can, I can learn all I want about cameras and different film stocks and all this kind of stuff. But, sometimes the head knowledge doesn't do it all for us.
Right.
It doesn't do all the work, and sometimes you gotta fall back on just like a sort of feeling or intuition in your craft. It's like an extension of you.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can agree with drumming for sure, man.
Man, yeah. Because sometimes you don't know what to play.
Yeah.
You don't. Man, and I'm telling you, it's been a journey, because it's like if you could imagine a 6'3" black guy with dreadlocks on stage with like a bluegrass band playing 6 congas, and every white person in the audience. And I say that because these are the stories that I have sometimes, right? It's like I'm painting the picture for you, not on no biased or racist mess, and just painting this picture, right? And so I'm on stage with these band that's like bluegrass or country or rock or like metal, and here's this guy with like 6 congas, and they're like, what is he gonna do? This is
so you're up there alone, like you're.
Well, I'm there with this band.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But at the same time, it's like I don't fit.
Yeah.
Because it's like, so to them I don't fit, but at the same time there's this credibility of the story of me allowing the opportunity to be there, because the people that I'm with already know the repertoire or what I bring to the table, so they're vouching.
Right.
But at the same time, nobody else knows, and so they're looking with like such just distaste or judgment or whatever, because they're expecting something else to be pure for what they designed, for what they decided to be, and then it meshes just well, and they're like, oh, I get it.
You're bringing them into your world.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah, get it. This works. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, and it's just like, because this is like the study of balance. Is like, I know when to back off. I know what rhythms to play, what makes sense, and it's just been a lot of study, man, and a lot of just learning and paying attention to those things. But it's also a lot of just growing up in East Texas, but also just boldly step into your artistry and step into your creative avenue. It's the same thing for you, right? It's just like trying to figure out where you fit in your avenue, or where you fit in your artistry, and then not budging from what your avenue or your particular area of that expertise is, right? I guarantee you, nobody does photography like you do.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
I would argue with that, but
no. In your,
I try to be humble.
No, seriously, like in your space, in your avenue, nobody does it with the intention of just the direction that you do, right? So it allows you to carve out that niche,
right? Yeah,
you know?
For sure. Yeah, and again, dude, it's whatever that even is. When I'm taking photos, I'm trying to figure out what that is, too.
Right.
It's like self-discovery kind of thing.
Yeah, man.
So like that, when we get down to, I can't be one of those dudes who like gets it's like, this is how to make a good photo. You need this and this. It's like, oh,
Nah, you can't
You just
do
kind of
that.
gotta know.
I almost asked you what your process was to taking a photo with a particular person, but then you blew it out of the water. And when you said, I don't even think about it like that. I think about the story that I want to tell in the end result, and that a lot of times I go get the person.
Yeah.
That's different, dude. That's weird.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird and different. Shout out to Weird and Different
Absolutely,
clothing.
man. Yeah.
You know Weird and Different?
What's that?
Weird and Different
Yeah.
clothing. You know what I'm talking about when I say that?
Weird and different. Like,
Yeah. Well, Weird and Different is a clothing brand.
Oh, it's a clothing. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So Weird and Different is a guy who I totally respect. He has hearing deficit, and he has his own clothing brand.
Okay.
And I think they're still on the mall in Tyler, Texas, in the kiosk. But their clothing brand is Weird and Different, and his stuff is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's
He's weird and different.
and his story is so cool.
Really?
But yeah, dude, it's remarkable. Yeah, it's like he and then a couple of, because I don't wear a lot of just like big brands. I would try to wear a lot of local stuff because it just support the journey of the entrepreneur. You know.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, man.
Keep it all here.
Yeah.
If you can. You know, Tyler only has so much, but
Yeah, but even then, it's like, you know, if there's a individual that tells another story that lives in Texas and he's an entrepreneur and he's an individual, I'll still support him.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if he doesn't live in East Texas, if he doesn't live in Tyler, if he's in Nac, if he's in Dallas, if he's in Houston, if he's on his journey of grinding and hustling, man, let me buy a shirt.
yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Let me buy a hoodie. Let me buy this, right?
Yeah.
Just to show him that, you know, I support you on the vision. You know, more power to you.
Yeah. As a creator myself, like when people approach me, you know, I don't really do like hired shoots.
Yeah.
It's not really my deal because I feel like I lose kind of control in a sense. You know, like I just want it to be like this natural, organic thing.
Yeah.
But it is nice when people do approach me like, hey, like, would you take my photos for this or this or this? And I'll probably say yes, you know, just because I like taking photos, but that it feels good, man. It feels good when somebody like appreciates what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, or even just sharing kind words like that. You know, like things that I haven't realized about myself, people have told me, or about my work that people have told me.
Yeah.
Just, like completely unsolicited. It just is the best feeling in the world, man.
Right.
Yeah. It's so cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So, who inspires David McCorkle?
Like visually in my work or just overall?
Let's start with visually.
Visually? So I'm not really familiar with a lot of still photographers. Like I know like a famous photo and you know, sometimes I'll know who did it. I mean, you have the obvious like Ansel Adams and stuff like that. That's more of the technical side of it for him. But when I was getting into it, and even now still, what inspires some of the people that inspired me visually were not always visual artists.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't always still photographers.
Yeah.
I'd say like Stanley Kubrick visually, absolutely. He's such a perfectionist. Rest in peace. Different musicians. Jeff Buckley, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He just has this way of, you know, I don't know what half of his songs are about, but when I listen to him, I'm like, yo, like I've felt this before, you know what I mean?
It's okay.
Just you know, anybody that, Stevie Ray Vaughan,
right?
You know, guitar, stuff like that. Like anybody that just is just their life is like their masterpiece, kind of. You know what I mean? And it inspires me visually because I'm trying to like tune into that if I'm not already, like figure out how to translate that nonverbal aspect of me that we all share.
Yeah.
You know, because that's just what art is. You know, well, I'm not defining art, but it's one thing that it is to me is translating that like subconscious human thing, that itness, into whatever medium, whether it's visual, music, writing. You know. But yeah, like Stanley Kubrick, different directors, Quentin Tarantino, you know, people like that. And you may hear that and it's like, well, I don't really see that in your work. It's like, that's not the point. You know what I mean? The point is they were good at what they did, you know?
And also, it's really not for you to understand.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah, no.
Like, I'm gonna be real. It doesn't matter if you see that or not.
Yeah.
It really truly does not matter. What inspires me is not dictated off of your understanding of that, right? It doesn't matter. Yeah, because I mean, it's for my own artistry, my own creativity, my own journey, my own knowledge. It's for my own understanding. Or really, hell, sometimes something might inspire you that you don't understand why it inspires you.
Yeah.
You just know that in the moment, that is what you have enjoyed.
I gotta touch on that for a little bit, because you know, when you ask that question, my immediate thought was like, well, what kind of artists inspire me? And then as I was talking, and then as you were talking, I think honestly, what inspires me more than anything is just whoever's around me, whoever in front of me. People,
come on.
You know what I mean? And this has become like extremely apparent to me just in this past week, because I was on vacation, and then we got stuck in New Orleans.
Yeah.
We ended up staying 2 nights, but while we were there, like, have you ever been there?
It's been so long.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I was like a kid.
It is the most insane, beautiful, crazy, everything. It's so real, man. Like, the architect, the people, just everything, man. Especially the people who are from there.
Yeah.
Dude. You walk through those streets, man. You walk. You know, we stayed around. It was more like the touristy parts, like French Quarter and stuff like that. But it was a lot of like historic history there. You know, and you walk around and you see modern cars and you see modern clothing. But if you look just a little more, it's like, dude, I feel like I'm in like the 1800s. I feel like I'm in, you know, it comes through, especially in the local people. You when you talk to them and you see their faces and that's their world, man. You know what I mean? And like, I didn't take a lot of photos there because I just wanted to, you know, just soak all that
Just
in.
be
You know?
in
And I'm
that
still
moment.
like processing it. Like after being back,
It was just
it
be in that
crazy,
moment.
man.
Dude.
Yeah. But stuff like that gets me, man. Like real human soul
dude, it's getting you right now. Like you're feeling it right now. You're not even there.
And that's what I try to get through when I'm taking a photo. You know, I want to make people look at that and feel that same way and look at you know, waterworks and stuff.
Man, because you're telling, like you're going through in your mind about what that is, and the one thing that pops into my head is because I am. Here's what's crazy is I'm such a big social media guy, but I hate social media. Right? I'm like I've learned to be such a big social media guy because I realize the importance of it for trying to promote my brand and what I do. But in a perfect world, I wouldn't even exist on social media. I just really wouldn't. I wouldn't care about it. I would because you know, the idea of privacy that is not advocated for anymore, that I still would love to exist in, that nobody knows what I do on a daily basis, and nobody cares about what I do on a daily basis, right? I'd love that, right? But it reminded me of a time that I was at True Vine on the Square. I was with Uriah Johnson, and I was we were doing something, and I was like, oh man, I didn't get a picture of that, and we were eating something, and Uriah reminded me. He said, man, some things are just for you to enjoy in the moment. And I know that, but oftentimes I think I just get caught up in the rat race, you know. So I know that in the beginning of this month, and I really think like all of this month, I took like a social media dissonance. I wouldn't say that it was a break or a hiatus. I just wasn't posting as much, and then just, you know, it's whatever. Yeah. Because I just needed that.
I think it's definitely, you know, we have that tool to our disposal in terms of like social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. As a, you know, an entrepreneur, an individual, whatever you're trying to say, like it is so much easier now than ever to get that out there. But I don't know, like kind of the same thing. Like when we were away, like I was hardly on my phone, and I did not miss it. And every time I got it, I was like, why do I do this? Yep. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, it's helpful to get my work out there. Like, we wouldn't be having this conversation if I wasn't posting on Instagram. But it's, you know, I haven't posted in a while, and it's I don't make it my life. That's just the only outlet that I have right now to share my work. Yeah. You know, if again, like you were saying, in a perfect world, I would drop off completely and make only physical artwork. Yeah. And it would probably be something like make a print and just like put it up on a wall, like graffiti style, but like a print. You know what I mean? Just like put it up around Tyler, and people are like, who's doing all these? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like walking around.
A creeper artist. Yeah, come on. Yeah.
Maybe I'll drop off one day. We'll see.
I'm going to. I plan on it.
Yeah.
I won't even live I probably will move to a foreign country that somewhere else that inspires me.
Yep.
Like somewhere in like Iceland or Haiti or something or like Peru or whatever. Just do nothing but play drums. Nobody knows that I play drums. I got like the same amount of drums that I have now. I think it's funny because people are like, I got like 20 plus drums, and people are like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. And for the people that are fortunate enough to come into my space, because I don't let a lot of people come. Like even when I do these podcasts, I do most of them on Instagram Live, or I'll do some where I meet at the Foundry and we'll do audio versions of them in the Foundry, like in the courtyard or something, because this is my space. Yeah, I protect my energy. Like people don't come here. I don't have people come here like that. I don't do that. But it's it's a crazy thing to me. But one day, if I can afford to, when I can afford to wake up at 10 o'clock in the morning and do like maybe 2 to 3 hours of work every day on a daily basis, because that pays for my fundamental things, and I have a little bit of abundance of things because God provides like that, and then goodbye America. I'm going to Iceland so that I can go see Sigur Rós play concerts every single year because I love Sigur Rós.
Sigur Rós, I'm not familiar.
My God.
I'm not familiar. You gotta
My God. I can't even describe it.
Good. All right, just show me them.
Can't. We'll do that. We'll do that. Yeah, it'll be something. I will share an experience with you. So Sigur Rós is a band that I was put on to when I was like 19, like maybe early 20s, right? Or early 20. And a friend of mine was going to school at UT Tyler. I was living in Longview, right? She came over to my house and she was like, yo, man, my boy introduced me to this band. He was like, show Casey. And I'm like, but I want to show you this band. I'm like, and she puts this MP3s, when people did MP3 CDs. How old are you, by the way?
24.
Okay, cool. So MP3 CDs, right? And she showed me, or she let me listen, and the first song pops on, and it's like just dissonant and in a foreign language and something I can't understand the translation of. But music is not needed. Like, that is not needed for you to enjoy music. I think sometimes people put things into boxes and try to make themselves feel like they have to understand it. Stop doing that, right? So Sigur Rós is funny, bro, because I learned that the name Sigur Rós in Icelandic means victory rose.
Victory Rose.
Victory Rose. Okay. Now it connected with me because I'm a huge Tupac fan through and through, and so the poem "The Rose That Grew from the Concrete," right? So what I learned about Sigur Rós after that, as I went home and I did my research, as I'm digging through and I'm listening to this MP3 CD, it's the whole entire discography at that point in time, right? This is in the year like 2008, right? Maybe 2007, 2008, right? And what I learned about Sigur Rós is the lead singer's name is Johnsy, and the day they had their first concert, they weren't named, but they needed a name in order for criteria to continue to play in the concert.
Gotcha, okay.
Right? The day of, Johnsy's little sister was supposed to be born. They were at the hospital. She wasn't supposed to make it out of labor due to health complications from mom, right? She made it, and they named her Sigur Rós, Victory Rose.
Dude.
The band named them Sigur Rós after the sister, or after the girl. And connecting to Tupac and the rose that grew from the concrete for enduring and perseverance and just being able to still stay in the fight. It's what it is, right? And so what you'll get sonically and musically from Sigur Rós is just like, I don't know what you'll get, because some songs sound like some dissonance, heavy metal, like almost Deftones inspired, or maybe like some type of what's that, Alice in Chains dissonant, because you know, like Alice in Chains has some real dissonant sounding drums, especially on the, what is it, I am the man in the box.
Oh yes, okay,
yeah. So
Lane Staley, he's always got that.
Yeah, man. Oh my God,
I love it though. Their Unplugged album is
just deep. It's deep, but it's like jazzy and not jazzy and bluesy and not bluesy.
Because probably all they're doing is just making music that they want to hear.
They're just making music.
They're soaking everything in.
They just, man, they lock themselves in a room and they just create. You know, a lot of people, when they create music, they listen to other people before they create, or they're listening to other people while they create. I always find the most inspiration for music artists and painters and people that do artwork that create independently. They don't look at anything else. They don't listen to anything else. They lock themselves up, and they don't even get to work. They just lock themselves up and they just have fun. And then when and then when they come out, you have that, whatever that is. You know, it's like Bjork does that. Sigur Rós obviously does that. I think, you know, a lot of hip hop artists that I really like do that. Like Kendrick Lamar does that. J. Cole does that. You know, A$AP Rocky does that. I love A$AP Rocky. It's just, Basquiat did that. You know, just my boy, shouts out to this guy. I feel like I shout him out a lot, but I love him. Shout out to my guy D-Phil. You know, D-Phil good. He does that. He does that. Man, in fact, I've got some of his artwork up in there. I saw one in the hallway. Yeah. Listen, there's a story about that, right? Okay. And this is your podcast. But I feel like we're just giving a lot of shouts out and shouting people out that we love as well. D-Phil did a thing. I forget when it was. It was an art in the park thing near Glass Park on the north side of Longview, but it wasn't at Glass Park. It was because Glass Park is cool because it's like two parks right next to one another, right? If you're not familiar, it's a cool little spot, man. But he did a kid art day thing, and so they had a canvas. It was that canvas right there, right? They had a canvas and they just spray painted on it, right? And so they ended up spray painting a star. It was part of it. And it's just very organic. And I have a nonprofit in Deep East Texas called Star Avenue CO. Okay. And so, and D-Phil knows about it, and it's highly respected by D-Phil, I guess, apparently. He was like, bro, this is your gift. Just gave it to me. And so
is that one in there?
Yeah, the long one that's on the wall by my bedroom. But yeah, man, he was like, here, this is yours. Because it's just what it was. And yeah, man, he's a connector, dude. He's a cool person, for real.
I don't know him super well. I've ran into him, or he's come to the cafe when I was still working there, and we talked about like Hyenas Coyote and stuff. He had this big like amethyst song. Like, every time I see him, he's just like, we're just like stoked to see each other, and I love that. It's like, I don't really know you, bro, but I know you have love in you.
He doesn't come into Tyler a lot.
Really?
Nah, man, he stays locked up in this spot and just works, and just in solitude. Yeah. He didn't come to Tyler a lot.
He's the man.
Yeah, he didn't get him, and man, there's kindred spirits in Tyler, and I love East Texas is like that. Like when I was in Nacogdoches in Deep East Texas, it's like that. Like kindred spirits, man. There's my guy Enrique Monguia and Johnny Hubbard and just Grant Menzies in Deep East Texas, and then you got Uriah here, and it's D-Phil.
It's good people.
Yeah, man. The coffee, the foundry people. Yeah. Just good people.
That's why I love it, man. And there's times I get tired of like small town stuff, but honestly though, like just thinking about all the people that I know and just like all the love that's just like circulating in the community downtown specifically, it's worth like putting up with drama sometimes, or it's worth like putting up with just being bored at times. You can go off and go to do whatever you want you know, when you want to, but
Yeah.
Tyler's gonna be my home, dude. Like, I'll always come back here.
Yeah.
I may not, you know, live here for certain parts of my life, but I'm definitely coming back. You know,
Yeah.
I'll be back. Yeah.
When I move, I'm not coming back.
Really?
No, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it at all. I'm tired of Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Just all together?
Yeah, I'm just tired. I've been here too long, man. I'm 34 and I've been here too long. That's
Did
just
you
it,
go?
man. Man, I was born in Longview.
Okay.
I grew up in Liberty City, Sabine.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
I moved back to Longview my sophomore year of high school. I graduated from Pine Tree. Actually, no, I'm missing a season. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I graduated from Pine Tree High School in Longview, Texas. I went to Kilgore College for like 2 years. I moved to Irving, Texas to go to school for music production and sound engineering. I lived in Irving and Addison and Dallas area for about 3. And then I moved back to Longview to go to school for substance abuse counseling, and then tapped into that world. And then I moved to Lufkin. No, I moved to NAC and then worked in Lufkin, Texas at the Alcohol and Drug Abuse Council of Deep East Texas for 6 years. And then I moved to Tyler. So I've been in East Texas pretty much most of my life. I've been in Texas all my life. I would say, audaciously speaking, I would say I'm just a rarity, because if you speak to me, and I've gotten this a lot, so this is how I know this exists, but if you speak to me, you can't tell where I'm from. And I don't know where that comes from, besides being given to me by my mother. Just perspectives and outlooks that are a little bit worldly. My mom always made sure that I was going on vacation at least like once a year, or she made sure that I was experiencing things that were giving of culture, or giving of understanding that where you're at is not the only thing that exists in the world, right? So I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. So
you just going around soaking it all up, and just kind of like you're saying, like when you get out into the world, when you like leave where you're comfortable, then you see, you meet different people from all over the place, and you realize like we're all the same pretty much. You know what I mean? So like you kind of take on qualities of the people around you, and then wherever you are, and then you come back home with that, and then you kind of share that, and they're like, yo, like what's changed or whatever. But it's just, and it's not I wouldn't even say that I almost said that it's like it's just kind of walking through life like neutrally, but it's not at all. You're walking through life. Take it as everything that you can.
Just consuming.
It's
consuming.
It's cool though, man. I think more people need to do that. I think that more people need to move away from Tyler, Texas for a little bit and see what the earth is like.
Right.
Yeah.
No, most definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Because that's one thing that shaped me a lot, just in my personality and my work was leaving. When I was 19, I was just living at home, not really doing anything, working a part-time job, and
that wasn't that long ago, man.
No, I know, that was like 5 years. For me, it feels
I'm like sunning you because I feel like I'm so much older than you. I guess 10 years is not that much older. I don't really know. I don't keep track.
It feels like a long time because so much has changed in terms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think of myself at 19, and
the maturity.
Oh my gosh!
From that versus now.
If my 19-year-old son was up there, I would just lay into it. I said, what are you doing?
I mean, listen, we were just talking about Tiffany from Period ETX and being 20 years old and then doing what she does. I know. What the hell? Shouts out to Tiffany from Period ETX.
She's 24, man.
Nah, man, she's 20 years old. I'm hating and uplifting at the same time. I guess really I'm just hating on myself and uplifting her at the same time because my God.
Yep. But now, around that time, I was just getting tired of. I was living and going to school in an even smaller town than Tyler. I graduated with 70 kids.
What school?
Edgewood, Texas.
My goodness.
You know about Edgewood?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
On the edge of the earth.
Pretty much, yeah.
Good night.
But got tired of all that. And
I thought Liberty City was small.
Yeah.
Edgewood is.
Yeah.
God.
Very, very small-minded people too. I know there's a lot of people like Blake Emmer. I don't know if you know Blake.
I know of Blake.
Yeah. He actually went to school with my brother there, and he made it out alive. He's cool. I'm glad that town didn't keep him there and suck him in. But yeah. Anyways, when I was 19.
Edgewood has the ability to suck people in?
Well, maybe not. So if you're not from there, I don't see why you would have any desire to really live there. It's cool. I mean, there's nothing going on. It's just a small town.
Yeah.
Maybe what I should have said is people who get there, whether they like when they're a kid or they grew up there or whatever, it doesn't suck them in. It just like gets its like small town little claws on them.
Yeah.
They're comfortable and they're in their little thing, and everybody just dresses the same. It's just like I remember going through high school and stuff, and I had moved there when I was in second grade, so it's not like I'm like from somewhere else necessarily. But I was always like going through high school, listening to like Tyler the Creator and wearing Supreme and stuff like that, and like
in Edgewood.
Yeah, in Edgewood, and people were like, "This is a weird ass dude," like you know. But
he's not from around here.
Yeah.
That's what they would say.
Got kind of fed up with that, a couple years after graduation, went up to Wyoming for the summer. And worked at. It sounds cool. I just worked at a gas station. But what was cool about it is that it was the last stop before you get to the east entrance of Yellowstone, and
that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, I went up there alone. I just packed up. I applied, had an interview like 2 days later, and was up there 2 weeks after that.
Yeah,
just booked. I just drove all the way up, and back to the main point is doing that, going alone, and you have people from Utah, you have people from Idaho, you have people from you name it, man. All over. Sometimes they get people from like out of the country doing seasonal work there, and when you force yourself to be uncomfortable, that was not comfortable at first, but you adapt and you meet people and you figure out like, oh yeah, we're all in the same boat, dude. Like
just trying to figure it out. Trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And then you come back, I came back from Wyoming and just had this complete perspective shift of like, well, in bad ways mostly, but that's a whole other season of my life.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of like drugs, psychedelics, and stuff like that. So I kind of went off the deep end.
There's some seasons like that.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
We're good now, man.
Do we dive into that season?
What's that?
Do we dive into that season, or do we leave that season?
About it? Yeah. I'll talk about anything, man. Yeah. So around the time I went to Wyoming, just before that was the first time I did. Oh, shit. Is this incriminating?
It's okay.
Is it incriminating?
I mean, is it still going on?
It's not still going on.
No,
I don't test it.
No, it's not. No, it's not, man. You're good,
bro. But started doing psychedelics, and started a little at a time. I was like, wow, this is really cool, fun.
I promise you, I'm not going to sit here and counsel you.
Okay, good. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not on the clock. I don't do that.
Yeah, but I was doing it to find answers, and sure, some questions got answered, but the thing about it, the trap is I raised 500,000 more questions doing that stuff.
Ooh. And
before I knew it, I didn't know who I was. I thought nothing mattered, and I was just everything. I was making excuses for my awful behavior. Mm-hmm. And when you get into that like new age kind of philosophy, the sort of like counterculture type stuff like from the 60s and all that, it all ties in. To the feeling you get when you're on those psychedelics, you have these experiences that are similar to like ancient philosophy, teachings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What I was doing was cherry picking from all these different things.
Yeah.
And saying like, well, this like religion or philosophy or belief system,
right?
It's okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I like that one. I'm going to take that one, but I don't like this aspect of it.
Right.
And I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to borrow from this one over here. You know what I mean? And before I know it, I'm just living in filth basically.
Yeah.
And having excuses for that. And I was doing that for about a year and a half. Went to Wyoming, came back, that's when it really started getting bad, and I was doing it like really consistently. Just losing my mind. But what stopped it was I had like this awful like hell trip basically. I'm not gonna say like I saw hell. I think I was like at the gates though. You know what I'm saying? Like under this psychedelic state.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, it just like, and you know, there's more to it, but it's kind of dark and I don't know. But like after that, I was like, okay, obviously this isn't the answer. And then I was just like fried for months after that, and had, you know, like a come to Jesus kind of thing, and reborn as a Christian and everything. And you know, I've stumbled since then. You know,
we all
all the freaking time. Man.
We all do, man. We all do. Man, that's crazy. I'm gonna just add this, man. Sometimes, because I went through that for a little bit, I'm not gonna say that my season with it was as dark in that avenue, maybe darker in another avenue. But when you get to exploring and cherry picking from different walks of life as far as religions or spirituality goes, I think what happens is, and I'm going to say I think because I'm leaving this open, there's no judgment here, there's no bias here. I think what happens is that person kind of leaves themselves unstructured in what their beliefs are, and easily wavered, and easily influenced, and easily manipulated, and then easily infectious of other people and their manipulation, and it ends up spreading like wildfire, and they don't even know where it comes from. Neither are the people that are affected by your influence, right? And it's crazy.
Yeah, and there's no accountability.
No,
you know?
There's no sense of it. There's no identification of what it looks like to be accountable, right? That's why it's like I don't care what your religious background is. I don't care what your spirituality is. But here's what I would love for people to do: pick one, stay with it. Don't waver.
Right. Yeah.
If you transition to another one, cool.
Yeah.
Pick one or the other, stay with it. Don't waver, because it's too complicated mentally. Like if that is one of the things that will give a person mental health diagnosis like nothing else. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Just stay with
I'm
one.
with you, man.
Just stay with. I don't care if you Buddhist.
It is so simple, dude.
Yeah. Like I don't care if you Buddhist. I don't care if you are pagan. I don't care. Like I truly don't care.
Yeah.
Pick one.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're Catholic. I don't care if you're Jewish. I don't care if you're Christian. I don't care. You know, I don't care if you're Baptist, because some people that's different than Christian.
Right.
Just pick one, man. Just pick one. Stay with it. Be cherry picking, man. You be all over the place.
You lose yourself.
It's scary, dude.
That's like soul sucking, man.
It's scary, man. It really is. Like, it's scary. You don't even know that it's scary. You think that it's you think that it's liberating, and that it's freeing, and that it allows self-exploration, but it doesn't. It's the exact opposite of self-exploration.
It's the opposite of freedom, man.
Man, come on, dude. There's nothing edifying with that.
No.
Nah, man, pick one. Yeah, let's get off that topic.
All right. We're all good now.
Yeah.
Don't do drugs.
Yeah.
A little Miller every once in a while is okay, but
I mean, whatever you choose. You know.
Check the time real quick, man.
For sure, man.
I gotta be at work at 3:30.
Okay.
We just hit 2.
Okay.
But
So we'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up. You good? Ain't no worries. Yeah, man. But I'm glad you came to have this conversation with me, for sure.
Yeah. I'm glad. This was cool.
Yeah.
I like when people ask me questions.
Yeah.
Because I won't talk otherwise.
Yeah.
You know.
I like conversation, man.
Yeah.
Like I like open conversation with people that are willing to have the open conversation. Sometimes I think I make people irritated because oftentimes when people ask me questions, I won't answer them because really most of the time people ask questions with expectation of you giving a particular answer or expectation of the answer being something that they already think the truth is, which in reality, if it's not the truth, because they asked you the question, they asked you what your opinion is. Why are you and then they interrupt you before you can even answer the question. So sometimes I make people mad because I seem like I'm a little bit dismissive but I already know what's going on, so I'm not like, I don't entertain it. So I think sometimes I come across as a little rude or aggressive. But here's the cool part about it is, and I think this makes people mad too, I don't really care.
Yeah. That's just how you are, man.
I don't really care. When I was a kid, I had to go watch the movie Babe with my sister. You know,
Babe with the pig?
Pig in the City.
Okay, yeah.
You know, the movie Babe, right?
Yeah.
And they had this little portion of this movie where the sheep would teach Babe the chant. It's hilarious. Why? Because in reality, if you think about it, Babe was talking about liberation from being in captivity, from being on farm.
I gotta rewatch this movie though.
Dude, it's deep. It's so deep.
Yeah.
I hated it when I was a kid because my sister was tee-hee-hee and thinking it was so funny. It really was funny though, because she picked up on those things. It was great. And it was wild because they were teaching Babe this chant. It was like, Ba-ram you, Ba-ram you. Sheep be you, sheep be true, Ba-ram you. Right? And I thought about it one day as I'm sitting in Irving, Texas on the steps of my school, Media Tech Institute, Sean, home of the Musically Insane. It's really just called Media Tech Institute, but I say Media Tech Institution, home with it. I think it burned down and doesn't exist anymore. It moved to another studio. But the point is, we're sitting there on the steps in the middle of a session. We just got done laying all the parts down for an instrumental and bass line and everything. We sitting on the steps coming up with a hook. And I'm sitting there just like kind of mute and still and bobbing my head. Because the verses were all like, liberation, forget a hater, whatever, move on, ignore the hater, ignore the bullshit, right? And I'm like, yo, I think about Babe. And I'm like, yo, that's exactly what Babe was talking about. And I'm like, yo, listen, what y'all ever seen the movie Babe, Pig in the City? And I'm like, yo, what if we add that what we recorded? Ba-ram you, Ba-ram you. And so we put that in the song, right? And it's throat. So now, when I'm in public and I'm around people that I don't want to spend my energy on, and I don't want them to spend their energy on me, I jokingly say Ba-ram you.
Really?
Because they don't know that I'm really saying I don't with you.
Yeah.
Because that's really what he's saying when they say Ba-ram. I don't with you. I don't with you. So the transition of the hook goes Ba-ram you. I don't with you.
Okay,
gotcha.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. And then it was wild. Now that I'm thinking about it, J. Cole has a studio session where there's like JID and the Earth Gang and all the Dreamville thing right man. And they're like, they have this song where they're all just in the mic chanting on this hook. It's like, it's a whole vibe, man. It's cool. But yeah, man, Babe.
I'm gonna watch it. Watch it tonight after work.
And then we'll do part 2.
All right, hell yeah. We'll only talk about Babe.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. This was fun, dude.
Yeah.
I like this.
But hey, David, thanks for participating in AvenueChat, man.
Yeah.
For sure. It's been a pleasure. You guys be sure and check out more Avenue Chats. They're on Spotify. They're on YouTube at Avenue Speak. Be blessed.
Bye, guys.
Peace. Oh, tell them where they can check out your photography.
It's here.
It's on Instagram.
There's gonna be audio too, so it's just I use Instagram. It's my full name pretty much, David P. McCorkle.
Yeah.
Last name is McCorkle.
You're going to send it to me so that I can drop the links and all the stuff as well. You guys be blessed.